The Reconciling Ministries Network is a coalition of United Methodist churches that believe and act on inclusivity of all people, but especially the LGBTQ community. And so we are open and welcome all people. Our youth group is very unique. We have a cooperation between 4 United Methodist youth groups in this area: Avondale, Eastlake, Highlands, and then Woodlawn. We have a number of fellowship activities, game night every few weeks. That's a time on Friday night where we just get together, bring snacks, and play board games and card games. And a lot of people bring friends to that.
We go to Fairhaven the 4th Sunday of every month. It starts at 6 o'clock. It began because there were so many members of this church that had actually gone to Fairhaven. So it started out more of an outreach to them so that they could still remain a part of this community. But since then, that number has dwindled, and we've just kept going, and now they have all faiths at Fairhaven. The other areas that we are involved with, other than Fairhaven, is we're very active with the AIDS Walk. We're there every fall, showing people that even with that condition, you're welcome here. We're getting more involved with the community in and of itself, with the business community, and with other outside and social activities, inviting the community of Woodlawn.
Every 3rd Sunday we have the best covered dish. We just sit around table, eat and fellowship, and that's an important part of who we are, and I think an important part of sharing a ministry together. The church was founded in 1887 when Birmingham looked totally different, and the steel industry was going, and a lot of the titans of the steel industry lived in Woodlawn and around this area, and the neighborhood grew up around that. The church grew, and they built a very large, beautiful sanctuary, beautiful stained glass, big balcony. And then in the 20s, they built a large education building with Sunday school classes to hold the children and families that began to come to the church. 50s, 60s, 70s were the heyday of the church, thousands of people coming here. In the midst of all that was the civil rights struggle, but they had a great leader in John Rutland, who was the pastor for many years and spoke out for civil rights for all people. Those in the church that were not on the same page with him got into heated discussions, but for the most part, he was able to show love to all people and teach the congregation that we needed to be a place that's open and welcoming to all of God's children. In 2009, the sanctuary burned down completely, and it was a tragedy, a lot of grief. It was a big loss, but the congregation saw that the church was more than the building, and they decided to rebuild. They partnered with Cornerstone School, who had been leasing classrooms in their education building. We were also able to incorporate some of the stained glass windows that made it through the fire. There's over the entrance to our sanctuary, there's a piece of stained glass that is very meaningful to the congregation. Our biggest challenge for the future is really making sustainable relationships with the neighborhood.
Geographically, you have this church which is in a more impoverished urban center here in Woodlawn, and so you have a hands-on approach to your neighborhood, where in other churches you have to seek out places to do ministry. Ministry comes to our door, and so we have a unique opportunity to to sort of be in community with the community. Within the next 12 months, some comprehensive programs that are going to be nutritional based, with surrounding food. We're changing our co-op to our food pantry to a co-op, and through the co-op we'll be adding in other components such as, like I said, nutrition, basic living components like cooking, cleaning, health, finance. A lot of times with missions you go in and you do your mission and then you come out and you go back home, but here this is our home, and so we have to be a vested part of the neighborhood, and we want to be, and we feel like that's a real attribute to this church.
When I came to the church in 2012, I found a church of the resurrection. I found people who were living out the resurrection. Their sanctuary had burned, but they were committed to building a new building and staying in this neighborhood to be a beacon of hope. I found people who had gone through lots of grief and loss, but were willing to live and share their gifts and come alive for Christ in the neighborhood. I found people who had been rejected by other churches, other faith communities because they were gay, but they had really come alive and had a place to use their gifts and belong and be welcomed.
There is no filter when it comes to the love that they give. There's no conditional response to the love. You can come in as long as so here it's just, you can come in and we're just really glad you're here.
No one cares where you've been or anything of your past. We just want to see you, and we want to know you.
I just see the hope and the promise that is here, and that's what keeps people. I mean, the people at Woodlawn Methodist have seen the hope and promise, and that's what keeps them going, and I've totally bought into that, and I want to be a part of this community. I want to be the pastor here. I love this church. I hope that I am here for a long time because I'm having a great time with these folks.